Hey everybody, it's Anakinnnn with TGN. And you know, I wanted to take a few minutes in this game here to address a couple of topics that, I've been talking about with subscribers and obviously some of my other YouTube director friends online as well. There's this bizarre concept to me about BF3 and MW3, Battlefield 3, versus Modern Warfare 3. The odd thing that I don't get between these two is that the games are just completely different games. And it's like, I don't understand why it has to be one or the other. There's this weird, idea that, you're either a Battlefield guy or a Call of Duty guy. And what's strange is that, if both of these games were both just plain old first-person shooters, you run around with a gun, then I'd be like, well, maybe that's the case. I remember kind of back in the old days, you were either a Quake guy or an Unreal guy. Generally people liked one or the other. A lot of people played both. I ended up playing both of them. They were different games, but the concept was very similar. Now let's talk about Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3 here for a second. These games are not the same game. In World at War, for the Call of Duty series, they tried to add in some vehicles, only on a couple of multiplayer maps. It didn't work out very well. They were, just kind of there. Nobody really did anything with them. But, Battlefield is not a small little arena-style multiplayer game. Where you've just got some people and guns and you're running around on a map. That's not what Battlefield is about. And I'm telling you, if you have this concept that that's what Battlefield is about, you really need to stop and try out that game franchise, any of the games. Bad Company and Bad Company 2, for the Battlefield franchise, I was not real big fans of those. Or a big fan of those. The thing is they tried to go down that same path as Call of Duty, and there was not really there wasn't really a reason for it. They got along just fine on the idea of a big game world, a big game map with vehicles of all types, not just tanks or cars or whatever. They had the helicopters and planes and motorcycles and jeeps and tanks and everything and all the other battlefields. And of course, if you really get into Battlefield 2142, you had little mechs. You had all kinds of crazy, crazy vehicles to jump into. It was a blast, an absolute blast. So here's the deal. I've played both franchises from literally the original release. I played Call of Duty 1 before there was even multiplayer, on the PC back. I remember getting the PC Gamer magazine, and about a year before the original Call of Duty came out, and seeing the Call of Duty cover on the magazine, and thinking, man, this is gonna be awesome. And around that same time, I really don't know right off the top of my head how far apart those two franchises kind of started, but I remember seeing a Battlefield 1942. And it was just a blast. Oh, man, did you see that guy? Anyway, I remember them talking about Battlefield 1942 and how it was going to be this crazy over-the-top online multiplayer game, with all these vehicles. And, they delivered. It was just unbelievable fun, okay? And at the time, they were the ones going, all crazy multiplayer when the original Call of Duty was just a single-player, just a good story-based first-person shooter. I don't even recall. I don't think the first Call of Duty actually had multiplayer. I'm pretty darn sure it didn't. You guys correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But, Call of Duty 2 came out, and, again, took the gaming world by storm. Everybody thought it was a great game. But, it still had nowhere near the popularity or the breakthrough in multiplayer that Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare had. I mean, that was just, you know, it was like a whole new paradigm in gaming. I mean, the way that perks and everything else was set up. So here's the thing, you know, this is what I don't understand, this weird rivalry. And my advice to everybody is that, you know, you should definitely try out both of these games. You know, everybody's like, oh my God, Battlefield 3 is just going to be unbelievable. It's going to kill Modern Warfare 3. And I'm like, well, you know, and then you've got other people, Modern Warfare 3 is amazing. It's going to kill Battlefield 3. Here's the deal. I'm playing both. For you guys to limit yourself to one of these games, if you've seen what to expect from these games, then why in the world would you want to limit yourself to only one? You know, Battlefield 3 is going to deliver with all of the vehicle and the crazy, like, over-the-top engine graphics and you know, all the effects on the screen. I mean, it looks unbelievable. And then with Modern Warfare 3, you're going to get that crazy, fast-paced, arena-style combat, and you don't have to worry about, you know, vehicles and you know, some of the other things if you want to just get quick and dirty and just jump in there with a gun and start shooting people. You know, it's not necessarily as team-based as Battlefield is. So they are two very different games. And, you know, I want to clear up, if somebody's got the wrong impression, I want to clear up the idea that you have to play only one or the other. You know, the deal is, you've got to try both of these games. I don't recommend just running out there and spending $120 come, you know, in the next couple of months on both these games if you can't afford it. But let me tell you, of all the games coming out this fall, those two I think are both must-buys if you're an online multiplayer fan. One is team-based with vehicles. The other is first-person shooter-based. You know, it just is different worlds. So at the end of this, you know, just think, why can't we all get along? Anyway, there you go. There's some good FFA action here on Storm back in Modern Warfare 2. I'm just getting ready for Modern Warfare 3. And hopefully neither one of those new games will disappoint. See you guys next time.